Good day, everybody, and welcome to today's latest episode on my YouTube video series, episode 59, where we're going to have a brutally honest review of the Arden Residences in Johor Bahru. Now, my name is Ryan Koo, and so let's start this video as per usual with an introduction of myself.
Director of Alpha Marketing,
Ryan speaking in Iskandar, Malaysia. So my name is Ryan. Nama saya Ryan.
6,000 incoming supply in Johor. This is
I'm writing. Thank you for attending today's presentation on Iskandar, Malaysia.
My name is Ryan Koo. I am a Malaysian. I am a Singapore PR. I've been in Singapore since 2009. I am a property investor first. I have bought and sold many properties in Singapore and Malaysia. I'm also a property agent in Malaysia and Singapore. And I'm most well known for being a speaker, a YouTuber on topics of retirement in Johor Bahru, as well as property investment in Johor Bahru. And I've written articles for HProp in Singapore, Property Guru, ST Property, iProperty. I've written 2 books on Iskandar, Malaysia. And yeah, generally, if you guys pay attention to the Johor Bahru economy and Johor Bahru property investment scene, you have probably heard or seen my videos before. If not, this is the first time you met me. Hello and welcome. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the Arden Service Residences. Now, Arden Service Residences is a project that actually a lot of people have asked me, hey Ryan, when are you going to do your review on Arden, or what do you think about Arden? I get these kind of comments and WhatsApps and questions about Arden actually for the past couple of months, so I'm sorry I've delayed this video until today. But finally, I'm going to give you my honest review, right, about this project. Now, as you see in this video, at this slide, right, Arden is actually this one, right, this tall tower over here is going to be the new landmark in Johor Bahru. It is a landmark building because it's quite tall. I'll explain to you further. And if you come to see Arden, you will see that it's actually in this same image, right? There are 2 other iconic buildings that need to be mentioned together, which is, of course, the MBJB building, which is this smaller one over here. MBJB refers to Majlis Bandaraya Johor Bahru, which is the city council. The city council building. This is a very unique, nice architecture building over here. And you also need to talk about the Astaka, which is the first project here in this location, which is the 2 twin towers at the back over here. Now, in case you don't know where the Arden is, so this is a drone map, right? So Singapore over here on the left, you come in, there's a JBCIQ. So normally most cars, when you drive out from Johor Bahru checkpoint, you come out at this location over here, and you drive down this direction when you get towards JB. And you will see that on your right, you will see the MBJB building and you will see the Astaka. I think most of you today, if you drive into JB, you would have noticed these 2 landmark buildings. So it's actually quite near the CIQ location, roughly 800 meters, I think, by car. So Arden is basically next to it, right? Pretty much next to Astaka and the MBJB building, right? This golden color in this screenshot over here, right? And if you go down this way, if you turn right when you come out from this road, of course you enter to Jalan Tebrau, where most of you know how to go to KSL and to also where the Taman Century, Taman Pelangi, all these areas are along this road. Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea where the Arden is. So an important point to take note is that Arden, right, as per this photo, is actually quite a tall building, right? It will be 260 meters tall. Actually, it's taller than Marina Bay Sands in Singapore, roughly 50 meters taller. And it's also actually will be the second tallest residential tower in JB. Who is the first tallest? Actually, the first tallest is his first project, which is Astaka, okay, over here. So Arden will be the second tallest, right? And as per the photo here, as you can see, I'm not very far from RTS. Like I said, roughly 800 meters plus minus, okay? So on a Google map perspective, right, as you can see here, the red color here refers to the One Bukit Senyum, which is all this cluster of projects. Astaka, Arden, all will be in this cluster here, right? And you can see the distance to CBD, to Johor Bahru CBD, it's a short drive, 5 minutes drive. I mean, once you're in the car, right, it's very near, right? To CIQ, Bukit Jaga RTS is roughly 800 meters plus minus, okay? And so the important thing to understand, number one, is what is this One Bukit Senyum. So One Bukit Senyum is the entire integrated development over here, which comprises today of a few plots. Number one, like I said, Astaka. as well as the MBJB office tower. The third component will be, of course, the Arden, right? So in the One Bukit Senyum site plan, right, there is already the Astaka here today. As you can see, I use my mouse over here, and the MBJB tower. So Astaka Arden will actually be this plot 3A, which you see over here, 1.73 acres next to Menara MBJB. This is the Arden. So Arden, right, is technically speaking the very corner building on the Tebrau Expressway and the Lingkaran Dalam Highway. Okay, so in that sense, location-wise, Arden has a lot of visibility, very high visibility. Again, when you drive out from the CIQ, you will definitely not miss seeing the Arden. It will be a very major landmark when you drive by into JB, right? And if you want to talk about the subsequent plots in One Bukit Senyum, okay, this will be the mall, right? They are targeting a 200,000 square feet mall here on this 3.35 acre land. The idea is for a high-end luxury mall, and this mall will also consist of a five-star hotel, right, which they have not confirmed right now. And yeah, Arden Residences is here. This is what do you call it, Arden. The sales gallery is currently in plot 3C over here. Okay, so this is how the entire One Bukit Senyum site will look like once it's all done in the future. This is the planning for it. In case you're wondering what this site was, many years ago, this was actually a sports complex with a hockey stadium that has already been torn down. And right next to you actually is the police station headquarters, right? So actually, police station quite near you lah. Okay, so before we talk about Arden, I think it's important to talk about Astaka. Okay, because Arden and Astaka have a lot of similarities, right? They are like abang adik, brother sister, right? It's important to talk about Arden in relevance to Astaka. So Astaka is the sister project that came before Arden, right? They are actually today the record tallest residential towers in Southeast Asia. Okay, in Southeast Asia, there are two towers, Tower A, Tower B, 65 and 70 stories. So very tall. Okay, completed 2017. Okay, this is a completed project. Only 438 units, right? And Astaka was designed to be a super luxurious building, residential building. One floor only have 4 units. I repeat, one floor only have 4 units, and they only have 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom sizes, which is about 2,200 square feet and 2,659 square feet. So the unit sizes are big. There are no small units in Astaka, and they all come with private lift, proper luxurious private lift. And the specifications, how do I put it simply, is very similar to Orchard freehold condos, right? Gaggenau, a lot of nice stuff in the building, right? Prices are from 2 million ringgit onwards, right? I don't think you can find anything cheaper than that today, right? And fully sold, right? This project is already fully sold. So Astaka is today probably the most luxurious large format building you can find in JB. There is probably no competitor to this today. Okay, so when Astaka came out, right, and the developer want to launch the next project, right, they have a heritage to follow, which is to follow the Astaka heritage, right? Okay, so we'll go on also to developer. Right now, the developer is called Astaka Padu, right, or Astaka Holdings, right? They are actually a listed company in Singapore. They listed in 2015, right? And I think on the Catalyst board, right, still listed today. And the first maiden project at the point in time was Astaka, which actually launched earlier in 2013. Now, little known fact, right? I was actually a consultant, part of the Astaka Padu team that helped did the prospectus and the listing for Astaka Padu. So actually, this is a photo from the SGX listing launch day, and you can actually see my face there. You can see me, yeah. Little known fact. So I do know this developer from way back, right? Not only as a property agent, but also for many other things that we've done together years ago. So I actually have some what you call relationship, I guess a relationship with Astaka. So just to declare everybody my my connections to Astaka. So I do them for a very long time. As I mentioned, I was even involved in their listing process. Okay, so so now we come back to Arden. Okay, talk so much, right, about Astaka and Astaka Padu, the developer. Now we come back to Arden. So what is the Arden? Now Arden, of course, it's a property project. Arden is many things. Number one, I think, is a landmark, which I think is true, considering it will be the second tallest building, right? It's also a service residence. So this is a commercial title service residences. And there's also a topic about as an investment property, which I will cover later. So a fact sheet, right, about Astaka. So 1.73 acres land. This is freehold, right? No leasehold here, all freehold. Only one tower, 618 units, 68 floors. So it's quite tall still. 9 lifts, including the service lift, and completion period you estimate here is 5 years. So 58 months, actually, this is a 5-year project with a completion in a 2030, also 5 years from now. There's only 3 layout types, okay? 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom. So again, to follow the Astaka heritage, there will not be any small units. So no studio, no 1-bedroom. The smaller size here is 2-bedroom. But of course, to differentiate itself from Astaka, right, it's not going the entire Astaka way, right? So you can see sizes here are generally smaller. 2-bedroom 797, 3-bedroom 1001, which is 1140, which is considerably smaller than Astaka. Astaka 3-bedroom is 2,200 square feet. So this is half the size of an Astaka 3-bedroom, right? And the 4-bedroom here is only 1,007 square feet compared to Astaka, which is 2,600 square feet. So one of the so-called criticism of Astaka, or complaint about Astaka, if you will, if you can call it a complaint, is that Astaka sizes are too big, right? If you want something smaller, Astaka don't have smaller size. So I think, so whether you call it a complaint. So Arden go in a direction where we are going to build the same high quality luxury specs as Astaka, but we will be smaller. We will be smaller, and of course we cannot challenge our big brother. Big brother's the tallest, so I will be second tallest, right? I cannot be the tallest, I'll be second tallest. But otherwise, Arden and Astaka are fairly similar, right? Luxury specifications, right? Same heritage in that design specs in that sense. Okay, so if you look at the section plan, okay, so what do they have in the section plan? On the very, very top, there's a sky garden, right? There's also a sky lounge, right, at level 50. Later I show you some slides of what is a sky garden and what's a sky lounge. The facilities floors are level 8, level 9. So there's 2 floors of facilities, right? 1 to 7 will be the car park, and there's a lobby on ground floor, and there's some basement car park as well. But you must take note that because of the site is only 1.73 acres, so it's not very big, right? It's not a what we call a spacious site, right? Like how you would compare some other projects in JB where the land is bigger, right? So this one, the land is smaller, right? So definitely the facilities will not be so big, right? Smaller. Even Astaka also have the same problem because Astaka also is a small site. So everything is so-called squeezed on a smaller land area, right? Arden has 9 lifts. Now, of the 9 lifts, they actually split the lifts to go, some lifts to go to high floors, some lifts only to go to the low floors. So there's actually what they define here, a high zone, which is level 38 to 67, and a low zone, which is level 10 to 37. So there's a story about this later. So just take note, if you buy high zone, then you only sit the 4 lifts that go to high zone. If you buy low zone, then you only sit the 4 lifts that go to low zone. This is to make sure that there's no overcrowding at the lifts, okay? And you will see that low floors, right, only have 2-bedder, 3-bedder, whereas high floors only have 3-bedder, 4-bedder. So there's no 4-bedder low floor, and the 2-bedders are also maximum up to maybe 2/3 height only. They don't, the very, very high floors don't have any 2 bedrooms. Okay, can? So separate lobbies. Now separate lobbies, I want to talk about the separate lobbies. So there's actually a lobby for the main entrance, right? This is the main lobby that serves the high floor, and there's another what we call a HSM entrance, which only serves the lower floors. Now I'll talk about this later, why there is a HSM entrance and a grand lobby entrance. Now, one more thing that you take note looking at these artist impressions, right? This 3D is that Arden and Astaka, or Arden here, they are doing a design or interior design that I think most Singaporeans and most Malaysians will like, right? The traditional luxury design. Like, let me give you an example in comparison to Chinese developers. Like, a lot of Chinese developers have a bit Chinese design style, which I know some of you don't like. Okay, nothing against Chinese developers. It's just that the design approach is different, right? What they think is nice, or their what they look at luxury, their specifications is very different from how we in Singapore and Malaysia are used to. So in Arden, you will see that this design right, is definitely something more familiar in Singapore and Malaysia, more familiar to what we are normally used to lah. Okay, so typical floor plan. So one floor plan, this is for the low floors, okay, where low floor and high floor lah, but level 10 to 37, 38 to 51. So why they split this is to show you depending on which lift you're taking, right, and whether you're in the high zone or the low zone, right. So there's in this stack you can on this floor you can see there's about 12 units on the floor, 2-bedder and 3-bedder only, as you notice, right. So one floor 12 unit with here you can see only 4 lifts that appear for your floors because your 4 lift only serve low floor okay. So 12 units, okay. So is it a lot of units on one floor? Yes, right. So actually, yes, 12 units on one floor is a lot right. So not so what do you call that, less, not so few units as you would think, but 12 units on the one floor is a lot, right. Many projects also may not actually have 12 units on the floor, right. If you go to the higher floors, it's less because there's the 4-bedders, right. On the higher floors, there's only 8 units per floor because of the 4 bedrooms are bigger. Okay, so the high floor here, the premium zone is 52 to 67, which is a high floor section. So here you only have 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom, and take note of the directions, almost north-south, not exactly 100%, but almost north-south facing. So the best facings actually are here and here for people who want to face south and face east lah. That's for the views lah. Okay, if you want to get a sea view to see Singapore, is face east or face south lah. Same here also on the high floor, face east or face south, you get the sea views. Okay, you face north, face west, you are facing towards the city, more of JB City views. Okay, so let's look at the floor plans. So this is a type A 2-bedroom, 797 square feet, 2-bed, 2-bath, right? So it's a dumbbell layout. So you go in from the main door, right? There is a kitchen and a so-called dining area. You have a living room in the middle, and then bedroom on the left, bedroom on the right, each with their own bathroom. Now, I want to highlight that actually in this layout, the specs are nice. I mean, developer do give high quality tiles and aircon also, they give nice ones, but they only provide digital door lock and 3 aircon here in this case. So 1 aircon bedroom, 1 aircon bedroom here, 1 aircon living. Otherwise, the unit comes empty. The toilets are fully done up. Okay, the bathrooms are fully done up, but you do not get kitchen cabinet, right? And you do not get wardrobe. Okay, the wardrobes and kitchen cabinets are not provided. So I mean, if I show you the artist impressions, right? This is from the show flat, right? These kitchen cabinets are actually not provided. You only get the floors, the tiles included, right? Aircon, right? Digital door lock, and the toilet is fully done up, right? Similar to these photos, but they are, they are not really partially furnished in that sense. Considered empty lah, actually. So digital door lock and only 3 aircon provided. So this is the 2 bedroom layout, right? If you go to the 3-bedroom layout, you come in as a foyer, right? There is a small wet kitchen with a yard, right? And then the dining area and 3 bedrooms, right? 2 bedrooms here. The bedroom 2, bedroom 3 actually share 1 bath, so it's a 3-bed, 2-bath. This is 1140 square feet, and same as before, right? Only get 4 aircon and 1 digital lock. Kitchen cabinets not provided, wardrobe not provided. Okay, but the specs are quite nice. Actually, the tiles given are very high quality ceramic tiles, right? So only digital door lock, 4 aircon provided, right? So if you go to the site, you visit the sales gallery, they do have show flat, right, available on site. If you want to come and visit me, I'll bring you to show the show flat. But just take note when you see the show flats, as I mentioned, right, actually these are done up ID show flats, right? The show flat will give you an idea of the space, right? But ID is freely up to interpretation in a sense. But I'll talk about ID later, okay? And you look at the 4-bedroom, the 4-bedroom is quite big, 1,700 square feet. You come in as a corridor, right? 1 junior, 1 master here, right, and 2 small bedrooms, and then you enter into the living with a dry kitchen and a yard. Okay, and the 4-bedroom actually has a back door, right? The back door is here. Sorry, the back door is here. Right, the back door is here. This is the foyer main entrance. Back door is here. Right, 2 bedrooms here with a master and 1 more junior master here on the right with balcony. Okay, 1,700 square feet. Okay, so this gives you an idea of the views. So as I mentioned, if you want to get a sea view, usually is the south view and the east view. You can see Singapore and the sea, right? If you look north, you look west, actually you don't really see the sea. You get more of what we call the city view. Okay, and this is a sample of so-called the best view, which is the south view. Okay, so Arden, do you get sea view? Yes. Is the sea view particularly nice? Yeah, okay lah, nothing great because Arden is not really next to the water. You are quite away from the sea, so in that sense, you can see sea lah, but you see the sea from far away lor. So it's not really what you call a very high quality sea view in that sense. Okay, so we go to facilities floor. So level 8, there is a sports and leisure. So we have the proper pool, right? Kids playground, gym, yoga room, right? If you go to level 9, it's more of the business and social. So they have a business center and some function rooms, book club, right? Golf simulator as well. I think this will be very popular. And on the level 50, they have a sky lounge where there's alfresco dining area, wine lounge, wine parlor, KTV lounge, some KTV lounges. So the design is very similar to Astaka. If you've been to Astaka, if you're not sure, you can go and Google some Astaka videos, right? Astaka has very nice facilities. So Arden will follow that tradition, right? And if you go to the rooftop, you have a sky garden, right, which can overlook, of course, 360 degrees of JB Singapore, right? And you can see here the design of the sky garden at the top. Okay. So you have a sky garden, but again, because like I said, site is not big, only 1.73 acres, so actually it's not a very big garden. Okay. So this comes to the next part of the important pitch about Arden, right? So Arden has something what we call hotel stay management or HSM. Just now, if you watch my earlier part of the video, we had one section where there is a HSM lobby, right? So what is HSM? HSM is not an Airbnb, right? It's a what they call hotel stay management, as in a gap, right? So let me explain, right? So basically, it's an operator, right, from KL that will run the Airbnb or the short-term rents for you, right, as an owner. So you have this option, right? So this operator has a nine Airbnb, right? The company is from KL, right? So they have using an AI powered system, right? And basically they'll run. You have an option as an owner to engage them to run short-term rents for you lah. And one disclaimer though, this will only be open for the low zone units. So you have to buy in the low zone units to use the HSM. Now the reason why they're doing this is so that the low zone has its own lobby, the high zone has its own lobby, so that Airbnb guests or short-term guests do not mix with the high floor residences. Okay, so the idea is because most people who stay in on the high floor, they have no Airbnb, right? So you don't want to mix them. So that's why they have two separate lobbies. That's why the low floor lobby is called the HSM lobby. So does it mean that if you buy low floor, you must use HSM? No, it's optional, right? HSM is not forced on you, right? But if you buy a low floor unit, you take note that you may have neighbors who are on the HSM program. Okay, so let me explain to you why the HSM program. Okay, so number one is tourism. Now we understand tourism in JB is doing well, right? If you see the numbers, right, pre-COVID tourism at the peak, right, was 14 million visitors in JB, right? Post-COVID in 2023, this hit 15.8 million visitors in Johor Bahru, okay? And this number is set to grow, right? After the RTS, we expect this to go maybe around 20 million or higher. And if you look at hotels within JB, this is a list, right, of hotels in Johor Bahru, their rating, okay, and what kind of rates they have for weekdays as well as weekends, and also how many rooms they have. Now you will notice for certain hotels, right, like St. Giles, South Key, and DoubleTree, right, they have a very wide variance on weekday and weekend. The weekend rate, right, is like double, right, or almost triple the weekday rate. That's you will see that not always the case, right? But only in cases like maybe KSL or the Trove, right, where the gap is not so big. But generally speaking, right, the weekend rates for the top hotels can be almost double the weekday rates. Okay, and occupancy rates for hotels are not bad, right? I think all the hotels, the 4-5 star hotels, are reporting 60-70%, right, to 80-90% on the weekends for their occupancy rates in JB today. So what HSM is trying to do is in Arden is to bridge that gap, right? Where we don't do Airbnb in a very cheap manner, but yet we are not pricing at the 5-star hotel rate, which is expensive, right? So the HSM is to somewhere in the middle, right? A hybrid model between hotel, Airbnb, and apartments, right? So That's why they call it HSM, right? So not as cheap as the typical Airbnb you see today, but not as expensive as a hotel, somewhere in between. So this operator 9BNB, right, will run it for you, and you have this option. Now, yeah, to repeat, so I want to repeat again, only for the low zone units only. Okay, so if you buy a unit in Arden and you don't want to have your neighbors be Airbnb guests, then you buy high floor. You buy high zone. You don't buy the low zone, right? But if you don't mind, then you can buy low zone. Okay, basically the operator will do everything for you, It's hassle free, right? So number one, they will do the house design and furnishing, because your house, as it come empty, right? So the design and renovation will be done by them, right? They will do all the marketing and all the customer service of the handling of the guests, right? And all the cleaning and maintenance of the checkout of the guests. So everything is basically done by them, right? There is a profit sharing model. Now, some of you may not be familiar with this. So how typically short-term rentals work is that they normally work on a revenue sharing, right? So in this case, for HSM, they are giving 85% to you as the owner, right? So they only, as operator, they only take 15%. And this will apply for the first 2 years. I don't know whether this will change after 2 years, right? But for now, it's 85% to owner, 15% to operator. Now, 85% is attractive because in most cases, like I also run Airbnb in JB, most cases is 70-30 lah, right? 70 to owner, 30% to operator. So for an Airbnb to give 85, right, on this HSM model, I think it's very attractive, right? And owner enjoy unlimited stays. So does it mean that if you give to HSM, you cannot stay? No, you can still stay your own unit, okay? As an owner, typically most model is you can tell the operator, oh, I want to stay on this date, right? They will block out the dates for you, so you can still stay in the property yourself, right? Only on those days that you don't stay, the operator will go and take it out for short-term rents, okay? So I think this is something that most investors slash retirees will enjoy. Why? Because if you come to JB as a holiday home or as a weekend home, means you still have a lot of days in the month or in the year where you're not staying. So to not waste these empty days, you can then give to the HSM operator to generate income for you lah, right? Because you don't stay sometimes, or sometimes you go for 1 month holiday as a retiree, you go to Europe, you go to Australia to see your children, right? Your house is empty for 1 month, right? You can also give to the operator to generate income lah, so you don't waste this holiday home. I think one of the biggest issues that people sometimes face when they buy a holiday home or a weekend home in JB, right? They scared that they don't use enough. Okay, so this HSM model, one thing good, as I mentioned, it gives you the option to earn an income when you are not staying. Okay, for these units. Okay, so yeah, that's the big plus point. So what are the other costs when it comes to HSM? Okay, number one is you need to renovate lah, because the house, as I mentioned, comes empty. So they have two prices here. One for the 2 bedroom, 80,000. One for the 3 bedroom is 100,000. So there's another 6K and 8K, 6,800, 8,000. This is for the Airbnb startup cost. That means to buy things like towels, bed sheets, right? Shampoo and those decor items. So this is where the 6,000 and 8,000 come from startup package, right? So 80,000 house renovation to put in the kitchens, the cabinets, the lights, right? The curtains, the sofa, the beds, right? And the 6,000 is for the startup, what do you call it? Startup Airbnb, the short-term rent startup items, right? Towels, bed sheets, right? And other decor items, right? So there's two designs. For 3 bedroom, you got two choices, Japandi or modern luxury. For the 2 bedroom, there's only one design, which is the modern luxury. So let me show you how a modern luxury looks like. This is the modern luxury design. So if you take HSM, it is mandatory to take the furnishing package, right? So 80,000 extra, and you get the house to look like this. Okay, this is modern luxury. For this is for the 2-bedder. If you want, or 2-bedders have, sorry, 2-bedder Japanese style. So Japanese is more Muji kind of design. Okay, for the, yeah, okay, just to split, just to show you the difference between the modern luxury color scheme and the Japanese color scheme. Okay, so how much money can you make? Okay, so this is a typical calculation using a 2-bedder here. So we assume 1186 million for the 2-bedder. This includes the 80,000 and 80,000 renovation package and the 6,000 startup package, so 1186. So they assume the property price here is 1.1 million. Okay, and the room rate of 480 at 60% occupancy rate, and there's an operational fee. So what is operational fee? Operational fee refers to the cost, things like utility, water, electricity, shampoo top up, cleaner costs. So normally what they would do is 480 times 60% occupancy minus the operational fee. That net amount only times 85% to you. So in this case here, you can see the sample calculation. 480 times 30 days times 60% minus 1,000, you get this amount. You get 85%, which is 77,000. So that will translate to a gross ROI rental yield of 6.57%. Okay, assuming the 60% occupancy, right? If the occupancy rate is 70%, it can go as high as 8%. Okay, return to you. Okay, so one caveat here, as I mentioned, occupancy rates will also be affected by how often you stay. You as the owner, if you come and stay every weekend, then you assume your yield will not be so high because you stay on the weekend. The more you stay as an owner, then of course the occupancy rate cannot be that high, right? But if you don't stay so much, right, you let it out more on the HSM, then of course the return to you will be higher, right? But like I said, the good thing to you as an owner is that it gives you the flexibility, right, of whether you want to stay, and when you're not staying, right, this property is generating an income for you, not left empty. Okay. So how is the pricing, right? How is the financing, and how do you buy? So pricing is here, right? I've given the two-bedder cheapest is 1 over million onwards. Most cases is 1.1 something up to 1.2 something million, right? The 3 bedrooms are 1.4 something million onwards, so 1.4, 1.5 million onwards. So this is about 300,000 Singapore dollars onwards, right? And the 4 bedroom is about 2.2x million onwards. So per square foot, we're looking at about 1,003 ringgit per square foot onwards. About similar pricing as R&F Phase 2, right? Higher, and of course higher floors will be more expensive. Okay. How is this pricing? I think it's fair considering the specs that Arden is doing for this project. These are not cheap stuff. If you don't believe me, come and see the show flat. You will know what I mean, right? They are putting very nice materials for this project, right? It's not a cheap looking. There's no cheap tile, cheap walls. These are all done. The toilets will all be doing using good stuff. So quite nice items. So 1,003, right? And since this will be a landmark building, I think this price is about there, justifies it. Around the same price as Astaka when it launched many years ago. Now, if you want to take loan, right, they do have 8 banks available. If you are Malaysian, you can get as high as 90%. We are told that foreigners can get 80% financing. So I think not bad. You can get quite a lot of bank loan for this project if you want to take bank loan, right? And for the package, legal fees for the loan and SPA are covered, right? If you are a foreigner, then you have to pay for the foreign levy, right? And MOT. MOT always borne by buyer. If you're foreign, you have to pay the foreign levy. So foreign levy here is 2% of the purchase price. Okay. If this is too complicated, I will explain to you in further detail, right? If you want to see. Okay. So after all this, okay, what is a summary, right? What do I think about Astaka or Arden, right, in layman terms? Now, Arden, to me, is a smaller size version of Astaka, right? If you can afford a 2 million budget, right, or bigger, honestly speaking, if you ask me my opinion, you should go and do Astaka. Because Astaka at 2 million plus, you get a much bigger unit, you get private lift, right? More privacy, and Astaka don't allow Airbnb, just to let you know. Astaka cannot do short-term rents. So in that sense, you got 2 million ringgit budget or higher, you buy Astaka. Okay, you go and see Astaka. I think Astaka will be very fun for you if you can do that. If you think 2 million is too much, right, and you want to buy smaller, then Arden is where Arden comes from. Arden can do 1 million, 1.5 million, this kind of price range, and also same high quality luxury specifications, right, which I think a lot of people enjoy. So luxury specs wise, same as Astaka, right? Very high specs, right? Similar to Orchard Road condos, you will not complain about the specs. And I think the beautiful thing about Arden is it comes with this HSM short-term rental program, which doesn't come in many projects. If you see a lot of projects in JB today, right, the developer don't give you this option. This one developer provide for you, which I think is good, right? The developer take the initiative to provide this HSM rental program for you, which gives you some income on your property. Okay, so pros and cons, right? Let's go through the pros and cons. So every project has pros and cons, right? As a marketing agent, right, it's our job to tell you what the pros and cons are. So pros number one, true luxury specifications and a design that Singaporeans and Malaysians will enjoy. Okay, in a JB city center location. Okay, number two, landmark building and high quality residence. So your neighbors, right, will generally be speaking of a higher caliber. You will not find like those poorer or lower quality resident here in Arden, right? Everybody here will be of certain standard lah, right? That choose to stay in Arden. Number three, the HSM program is attractive, right? And it gives the owner a lot of flexibility for own stay as well as generating income when you are not around. Okay, and the income is not bad, right? Since they give you 85%, right, that will give you 6%, 8% kind of range in terms of return. Now, yeah, those are the pros. How about the cons, right? Number one to me is you will not really be walking to the RTS. Then you say, hey Ryan, 800 meter only ma. Why I cannot walk to RTS? Number one, there's a big highway in between. That highway, I think, don't have any real way to cross. Even if there is, I doubt you'll be using that way to cross. And I think the 800 meters is along a road which is not really walkable. So just to put it shortly, you will not be walking to the RTS. If you want to go to RTS, right, you have to take a car, right, take a taxi, right. Arden is not a RTS project, right. I mean, if you want to buy a project that you can walk to RTS, Arden is not it. It's not it. I think the developers, sales staff also tell me themselves, they are not targeting that kind of buyer, right? They're targeting a bit atas buyer. Okay, so if you are the one that want to walk to the MRT, Arden cannot. Okay, Arden cannot walk to MRT. Okay, very difficult to walk to MRT. Very unlikely you'll be doing that, even though 800 meters. Okay, it's not really walkable. And number two is Arden, as of today, minimal conveniences. I think you go downstairs, there is no mall today. Although developer want to build a mall, that mall as of today is not built yet, will not be built at the same time. We don't know whether this mall will be built immediately. It may be a couple of years before the mall come, right? And you come down from Arden, there's no like makan, F&B, cafe, supermarket, nothing in walking distance. Although Arden downstairs have some retail lots, maybe there'll be a 7-Eleven, you know, a laundry, right? But don't expect much, right? So there's, in that sense, very minimal amenities or convenience downstairs. No supermarket walking distance, no right, no F&B or a lot of restaurants walking distance, at least today, right? So if you stay Arden and you want to go anywhere, you will have to drive, right? Or you have to take a car, right? A taxi. You will not be able to walk down, buy something, eat a lot, and go up, right? As of now, don't have, right? So Arden is not that kind of project, at least today lah. If they build that mall in the next phase, right, then maybe yes. But as of today, this mall is not confirmed, not built yet. So as of today, don't have, right? No visibility on that right now. Okay, so to end the video, I am a marketing agent for Arden, right? I do sell Arden. So if you like what I shared in this video, right, and you want to find out more, you want to see, there's a sales gallery, there's some show flats, you can contact me at my number there, 81261626. That's my Singapore number. I can drive you in from Singapore if you want. If you guys are based in Singapore, I'm also based in Singapore. I live in Singapore, so I can pick you up in Singapore, drive you in, go and show you around and bring you back. Okay. You can also contact me if you just want to have a short, non-obligatory discussion first. I'm more than happy to explain the project to you, yeah, explain my 2 cents or things that maybe I cannot say on this video. Right? Or if you have any things particular to your situation that you want to ask me first, you can ask me first. I will explain to you before you go and take a look. Okay, so thank you very much. Right, if you anything, you can email. This is my Singapore number, my Malaysian number, my Facebook, my email. Right, if you want to join my mailing list, right, to get more details about JB properties and other Malaysia retirement topics, you can scan here to join my mailing list. Thank you very much. Right, I hope you enjoyed this video and this honest review on the Arden. Right, and I hope if you already considering to buy Arden, right, this already gives you some idea to proceed or not to proceed, right? Right. And if you haven't looked at Arden before, but you think Arden is nice, as I mentioned, please contact me and I'm more than happy to show you. So thank you very much and bye bye.